Welcome. Welcome. It is very late at night. I am back doing a Sunday night recap. Don't expect this to be a regular thing. I'll do it when I feel like it. Honestly, I didn't really feel like it today. But, I did it anyway because I have a great guest. One of my favorites. So tell the people.
Appreciate it. Ryan Pros _FF is the name, I guess, at this point. You know where to find me on Twitter. I've been here before. Not really much to say else,
I mean, there's a lot more to say, right? I mean, why don't you tell the people more? We have time on this show. It's not like on the Start Sit show where I'm like, we don't get to all the questions. We never get to all the questions. But on this show, it's like we have just a few questions. So we're not gonna have any trouble getting to all of them. So tell the people more about your work and all of that.
Well, right now we are doing Start Sit shows on the Fantasy Newsroom Sunday mornings, 12 to 1. We're planning on. We don't know what we're doing yet. And I'm starting a new series this week for the Dynasty Vipers. I've yet to decide on it, but it's gonna be a good one. But I'm gonna start that up this week, and that'll probably be out before the games for week 3. So excited about that.
I love it. I mean, there's, people are doing great work. I know that that I get a good amount of attention, but there's a lot of other people who are doing good stuff.
That's
we have some comments in the chat. All right, this is Akash?
Yeah.
I've heard it pronounced both ways.
So have I on Clubhouse.
I've known multiple people with the same name who've pronounced it differently.
I was just hanging out with them in Clubhouse.
Actually, they pronounced it differently based on when some days it was one thing, and another day it was another thing. So I don't know. Anyway, hi. He asks us, how is David Bell doing? Like Purdue David Bell?
Purdue David Bell. I think that's who he's talking about.
What about him?
I think he scored twice this weekend, if I'm not wrong, or was that last weekend?
I don't know. I mean, that would imply that I watched college football.
I'm checking for the game log.
Yeah, you give me a game log. I don't watch college football. I don't have time for that. I love dev prospects, but to be honest, during the season, I just don't have time. I'm drowning, and now I'm doing Start Sit too. I mean, doing Start Sit, doing Dynasty rankings. I'm supposedly doing.
Hurt this past weekend.
Oh, he got hurt.
He's doubtful.
Serious, but I think he'll be fine. But I didn't hear anything major. But just to avoid burnout, I just cannot possibly do it. I've always wanted to get more into Devy, but the bandwidth's just not there. If the college football season were played in the spring, I think I would consider it. But it's not. It's played simultaneously with the NFL season. And I just can't do it. There's just no time. How am I possibly going to do it? It
takes a lot.
I just can't. I mean, there's just no way. So, I've tried to do better. I've tried to at least, engage with the Devy side of the community a little bit more. But for me becoming a Devy analyst, there's just zero chance of that. It's just not.
I just watch the top games, and then I watch Penn State because they're local. It's about it.
I just don't have time for that. And this is something I think that's underrated. It's some of us in the fantasy community, and please, I don't want people to take this the wrong way. Some of us in the fantasy community have lives. I just can't. I'm gonna watch football all day Sunday, and I feel like I should because it's my job, and I want this to be my job, and I'm gonna watch the games. I'm not also gonna watch football all day Saturday. I have a life. I need to get out. I need to do things. My friends, and maybe I've talked about this on other shows, but my friends are not sports fans. And if they are, most of them are not football fans. So, it's just that's just not something I do. So as much as I would like to, it's just probably not gonna happen. I need some time in my life. All right. We have some questions.
I was in Happy Valley this weekend, so like
Happy
I guess
Valley?
yeah, I was in Penn State, but I didn't go to the game, but I was there for the whiteout, like the pre stuff. Absolutely nuts.
I love
Crazy
it.
atmosphere.
All right. Dustin, is this the real Debo? Here to stay, or should we be selling high? So I actually wrote about this today. You'll see it tomorrow. So and I will put the link to the original article in the chat. You will not be able to see what I'm talking about with the new article because it hasn't published yet. But I'll put the link to the original in the chat, and then we can discuss it. So essentially, that is the original article, and I talked about the San Francisco wide receivers, wide receiving core, the entire group going into this week. So basically, it's a two-part article. I look at the storylines before they happen, talking about what we're watching for, and then after the games, I go back and I'm like, well, this is what happened with that storyline. So one of them was the San Francisco receiving room going into this week, and I had said that if week 1 repeated in week 2, then it was time to start considering, and it did, basically, right? I mean, more or less.
Yeah, he didn't get the touchdowns, but he still got the target share.
The touchdown went elsewhere, but there was only one passing touchdown. I mean, yeah, Debo 693, 6 for 93, Brandon Ayuk 1 for 6. Debo 8 targets, Ayuk 2. And the worst part, or I don't know if this is the worst part, but Kittle again was not a major part of the receiving game. 4 receptions for 17 yards. That's it. A lot of blocking. So, okay. So is this the real Debo? I would say yes. Debo's good. He just has to stay healthy. And, he looks just as good as he did as a rookie. So I would say yes. I'm in on Debo. Now, I still think Ayuk is going to bounce back. But I'm more confident that Kittle is going to bounce back, even now. And if this is the real Debo and Kittle bounces back, there's just no room for Ayuk to be a wide receiver 1 or even a wide receiver 2, really, in this offense. So, yeah, it's not good. Do you have any thoughts on this?
I mean, I agree with you. Ayuk's still in the doghouse. I mean, Debo's looked fantastic these past 2 weeks, and
so I disagree that Ayuk's in the doghouse.
It feels like it at this point.
He played. I mean, he had an increase in snaps this week. He became the clear wide receiver 2. The clear wide receiver 2 he became this week. Clearly the wide receiver 2 in snaps anyway, not targets.
I mean, it kind of depends on the return for Debo. Like, if you're getting something stupid, ridiculous that you probably shouldn't be getting, accept it. If someone's buying into the hype, extremely.
So yeah, we're not going to go through every game. We're just going to go through a few things. But let me give you some ideas. So, Debo or Ayuk at this point?
Oh,
straight
Debo.
up. Debo. We're talking Dynasty for all of this.
Oh, Dynasty. Oh, I thought you meant redraft.
No, I never mean
I go Ayuk because I think he's going to work his way out of it.
Yeah, so for me, it's already Debo. In Dynasty, I've already seen enough to change my mind that it's already Debo.
I think he's going to – I just think he's going to work his way out of it. He's too talented not to.
Debo or Jerry Jeudy?
That's Jerry Jeudy, even with the injury.
Debo or Waddle?
That'd probably be Debo.
Okay.
Just because we prove production.
Debo or Cortland Sutton? Same breakout today.
Ooh.
Debo or Cortland Sutton?
Give me the leader in NFL air yards, Cortland Sutton.
Cortland Sutton. We're doing pretty interestingly so far. And then Debo or Juju?
Oh. See, that knee injury today for Deontay looked we haven't got an update on that, have we?
From what it looked like, that was torn ACL. I mean, he couldn't put any weight on the knee.
It
knee like injury couldn't put any weight on the knee. You would think they would know if it was a torn ACL, though. That's the only thing giving me hope.
We haven't heard anything yet. There's been absolutely no updates.
That's a good sign, actually, because if it were a torn ACL, usually you would know
about it right away. Like they'd walk back to the testing room, and you get the update on your phone like 30 minutes later, something like that. It's usually how they
Yeah,
do it.
you know,
Because this offense
it
hasn't
did
used
not
Claypool
look
right now.
good. It did not look good though. That's the thing.
And that bums me out because I love Deontay. I'm such a big Deontay guy.
I don't know.
Because Juju might be the wide receiver 1 for that team going forward.
He's
this
not.
year. This year,
he's not.
With the short A dot over with Big Ben.
Claypool out targeted him this week.
It's because Deontay was still there. It's tough. I like Claypool's talent more, but I feel like Big Ben would favor Juju more.
But here's the thing, though. I think Juju is what he is. I think that with Deontay out, I'm not expecting Juju to become Deontay. I'm expecting them to play. Honestly, if you want to know what I'm expecting them to play James Washington in Deontay's role, and just accept that Deontay's role is now not the alpha on the team. It's the third wide receiver on the team. And I expect Claypool to be the one who gets a massive increase in targets and production if Deontay goes out, not Juju. Claypool would be close to a weekly wide receiver 1 to me if Deontay were gone.
I mean, the upside's massive with the profile and everything.
To me, Juju is nothing. I mean, he is just the guy. He's fine. Not impressed. I'm really not.
It's one of those things where it's a toss-up.
I wasn't impressed today. What did he do today that was so impressive?
Nothing impressive, but
that's the thing. So, I don't know about that. But anyway, with Debo, I would definitely take Debo over Juju. That would be easy.
I would too, but I'm just trying to argue that, hey, Juju might get a bump this season with Deontay potentially gone.
Yeah.
We have to lean on those two guys.
Let's see what happens with Deontay. We don't know about the injury.
I hope he's
okay, last one. Debo or Rondale Moore?
What a day for Rondale Moore. We have to talk about that.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Rondale Moore. I'm bought into the hype.
Man. Very close. They're both going to rise in my rankings.
He had a fantastic day today.
Debo was ahead going into the week by 2 spots. I don't know who's going to rise more. I'm probably, because they're both kind of ceiling capped. I don't think either player is really going to be a reliable wide receiver 1 ever. So,
yep. But who's the better quarterback right now? It's definitely Rondale Moore.
Yes, but if they went to Trey Lance,
that's true.
And there's also no nuke on. Clearly, Kittle is not the same.
It should be Kittle. I'm not saying it should be.
But it's not. That's the thing. It's not.
I gotcha.
But yeah, when it comes to is this the real Debo? Should I be selling high? I would put him on the block. I would put him on the block because I think that where I fall on his ranking is going to be lower than his value at this point. So I would put him on the block.
I also feel like managers are going to want to, some of them are going to want to run after Debo.
I'm not buying Debo. So I'm not.
I'm not, but I'm just saying someone's going to put a ridiculous offer for Debo with how he's been playing. It just feels like one of those guys.
The perception is that Debo should be like a round above Ayuk at this point, and that's just not where I have it. So I'm not where I'm going to. So I'm not. I would put Debo on the block. All right.
I agree with that.
I do homework on Saturday, watch football on Sunday. I mean, sure, I do a lot of things on Saturday, so I can watch football on Sunday. Okay, so we saw, Dustin is asking this question, and then we also had Jacob Sanderson ask the same question. So we'll answer that question. What is the least that you would accept for Tony Pollard in Dynasty? So, we usually think in super flex, but whatever. What is the least that you would accept?
Oh gosh, I mean, before this point, it was probably second, maybe 2, but now he's proven he has standalone value. So I don't know what I'd take it in terms of a player.
That? Has he really?
I think he has.
I think that continues with Gallup out. You think that he actually has standalone? I mean, he had 13 carries today.
Going into the season, it was on me and Spencer's award prediction show, and we were asking fantasy questions as well. We were talking about who is the player that's going to be drafted outside the first 2 rounds next season, and we both agreed on Zeke, but I picked someone else because, obviously you got to pick someone else. But because I thought Tony Pollard is going to take some work because they want to keep Zeke fresh for this contract because they're paying him just a ton of money.
I just don't see this week's level of work as being the norm. As in, I think that Zeke's 16 carries that he got is normal. I just don't think in most games there's going to be 13 carries for Pollard on top of that. That's the issue. I think
Zach
Zeke 16 is
attempts.
Right, and that's very low. So like that's what I'm saying. I think that normally you would see 16 and 7, not 16 and 13. But they're capping Zeke's touches. So to me, yeah, I'm a little bit in on Pollard, but this is more of a negative on Zeke than a positive on Pollard for me. Pollard is someone I would also 100% put on the block. I would 100% put him on the block because I don't think Pollard's ever going to have standalone value. I think you'll see that if you try to give Pollard 17 or 18 carries a game, you're going to have an incoming disaster. He's just not capable of handling that. So I would put Pollard on the block because I don't really think Zeke is Zeke going away? I don't think so. Zeke is still serviceable. Was Zeke even bad? I mean, is 16
the best? Those carries.
Right, but is 16 for 71 a touchdown and 2 catches for 26 yards? Is that bad? Is that really bad?
Compared to where you drafted Zeke?
Okay, fine. But like what I'm saying is for Pollard to be relevant, Zeke would have to disappear. Right? I mean, how relevant is Pollard at best? This is not a run-heavy team. I mean, at best, Pollard with Zeke in the lineup is going to be an RB3 in the best matchups possible. So Pollard is someone I'm going to put on the block. I mean, if I could get, at this point, a second is not enough.
Probably.
You're not going to get a first, right? I mean, there's just no way. I think my ideal trade would be if I could trade Pollard and a second for a first. That, Dynasty managers used to fall for that. They mostly don't anymore. But occasionally in your home leagues, that will still work. Typically, I don't find people falling for that like they used to 2 or 3 years ago. But that would be my ideal goal. How do you feel about that?
I feel pretty good. Like I said, I'd be content with 2 seconds.
Yeah, I think that's more realistic. But I would take it. I mean, I would take it. I just
see that's what I would take beforehand, and now it'd be more realistic to get. I feel like I was one of those people. Like I said, it'd be hard to pry Pollard for me. So
I would just take it then. Like now you have an opportunity to get it, and I would just get out. I mean, I just don't see it.
Fair enough. I mean, 1 and 22, and then 23 is looking like a super deep class where the second round looks super serviceable at this point.
I'm not super worried about that.
That's what I'm just saying that.
Yeah. All right. Let's make sure we get to the people who sent in questions in advance, and then I'll go back to the chat. Okay. That's a good question. Who's not performing so far this season who you're looking to buy cheap? So who are your big names, whether you want to buy them cheap or not? Who are like the biggest names that in your opinion are not performing? Like who's worth discussing who's not performing for you? Who would you name?
Did we just bring up the man, George Kittle? I mean, he had a decent first game.
Yes. Yeah, he
5 targets.
I mean, if I look at my rankings, quarterbacks aside, in Superflex, if I look at my rankings, yeah, he's probably one of the highest players that I would say is not producing. Just not. Are you looking to buy George Kittle cheap or not?
I try. I mean, you got to think the targets are going to come his way eventually, right? You can't keep scheming him to run block. I know he's the best overall around tight end in the league, but
he is.
You got to let him work. Yeah, he still is. I'd go
So
after him, but I don't think people would be itching to trade away George Kittle just yet. It's one of those things. Like, I don't think the panic on George Kittle is near the level the panic is on Saquon or
I
Zeke at
said
this
that there
point.
should be panic on George Kittle in my article. So I'm fine with it.
But well, what I'm seeing is the public reacting to Saquon and Zeke, and I'm not seeing much reaction to George Kittle's stat lines recently.
Yeah, maybe there should be. Honestly, then
That's what I'm saying. Maybe the public hasn't, caught up to that
I
yet.
think they will this week as people start to talk about it. I
I
mean,
mean,
do you even think you could get TJ Hawkinson straight up for George Kittle right now? I don't think you can.
especially after tomorrow night, I think
Well, we
TJ
don't know
Hawkinson's
what's
in
going to
for.
happen tomorrow night, but
I think he's in for a big game, but after week 1, after the stat line he had, probably not.
let's say, I mean, what's the best case scenario? Let's say you could get, I mean, I don't even know. How do you even trade George Kittle?
You don't.
You don't, right? So would you buy him? I mean, if you could send a tight end premium league, you could send Noah Fant, who had a big game today, tight end premium, 1.75 premium, let's say, trade out of scoring. You could send Noah Fant and a 2022 first to acquire George Kittle. Would you do it?
The first be like late, probably. Just a random
Say
one.
random.
Random.
Go random.
I'd
Tight end
probably
premium,
still do.
super
I'd
flex.
probably still do it. If George
I'd still
Kittle
do
gets
it
those
too.
targets in a 1.75, the upside is otherworldly. You
So
just
I
gotta
think we
bank
found a
it.
good. So we found a good answer to this question.
Yeah. See, I traded George Kittle before the season in a tight end premium league. I received Kyle Pitts, so
Yeah,
I
well,
feel good about it.
that looks great now.
It looks pretty good. But yeah, I mean,
I
Noah
mean,
Fant's gonna get the bump still, with Judy gone. But George Kittle, you have to bank on the talent's gonna succeed.
the talent's gonna win. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would. I mean, man. Anyone else? What about Ryan Tannehill? He hasn't been good. 2 games, not good. Week 1, not good. Not good at all. Week 1, terrible. Week 2, not good either.
They
That
took
he
away that
didn't.
touchdown. That should have been.
Still not good.
I
It
know.
was not. He did not look good. He did not look good in week 2. Derrick Henry bailed them out. He didn't look good at all. Tannehill. He failed to do anything. AJ Brown, 9 targets, 3 catches. I mean, he failed to develop any chemistry with AJ Brown this week. I mean, it's not good. It was not good. It was unacceptable.
Okay,
I mean,
AJ Brown didn't have the best game. He had a couple of drops there.
he had a
Just 2 or
couple
3.
of drops, but there were also, I mean, there were a couple of passes from Tannehill that were nowhere near him. I mean, Tannehill didn't look good. I mean, I don't know. He hasn't looked good yet this season. We haven't seen 2020 Tannehill yet. We haven't seen that. So, would you be interested in buying Tannehill low?
Looking at his upcoming matchups, I'd probably be inclined to his Indy next week.
Well, it's Dynasty. I mean, Dynasty's
Dynasty.
Yeah.
How old is he? 32? 33?
33.
I mean, if you're contending, of course, but
Okay, well, let me give you an example. Would you consider, Sam Darnold had a pretty good week this week. If you could buy Ryan Tannehill for Sam Darnold in a 2nd-round pick, would you be interested in that?
I don't think I would.
You wouldn't? Oh, okay. Maybe I need to go buy Ryan Tannehill then because I am not interested in Sam Darnold at all, even now.
I don't know. I just feel like Sam Darnold is just going to be tossing it to McCaffrey all the time, so maybe that's why. I really like DJ Moore, too. I like his weapons, and I feel like he'll be fine. He'll be okay. And Ryan Tannehill has looked so bad, although I see the Jets in Jacksonville, and he could recoup a lot of value in that 2-game stretch, even in Dynasty. He could prove he has that last year form again.
Yeah. So if there's anyone worried about DK Metcalf, because
that's a good name.
That's kind of outshone him, I wouldn't, and I would be interested in buying DK Metcalf.
Oh, I agree. I think that's an easy one.
Oh, and also Javonte Williams.
Soon.
It's coming.
Soon.
So it's
what
you're
Melvin
running
Gordon
out of
average
time.
today? 2 point whatever yards per carry Melvin Gordon averaged today. I'm pretty sure.
No. Melvin Gordon had that one big run against the Giants. That's like still like managing to hold his value up. But yeah, I would be interested. Denver looks like a good team.
They look really good. I mean, of course, today was against Urban Meyer and the Jaguars.
Yeah,
so
no. Yeah,
last week they had a pretty good game.
I also would have some interest, and if people are just done with DJ Chark after this week, Laviska Shenault's hurt, so forget him. But if people are just done with DJ Chark is a free agent after this year. He's going to get another contract somewhere. I mean, him and Michael Gallup are going to be the two premier wide receiver free agents available. Notice who was not included there.
You excluded Mike Williams for reasons?
No, Juju was the one who was excluded.
Oh, I think
Mike from Williams premier. Juju is, wide receiver threes are not premier free agents. But DJ Chark is going to get another contract somewhere. He sucked again this week. I mean, nothing. This last week, he had a lot of targets and did nothing with them. This time, 4 targets, 1 measly reception for 19 yards. So DJ Chark is only 20. I believe he just turned 25. Yep. I would not quit on DJ Chark entirely. I think DJ Chark is good and has been very unlucky. He broke out in his second year. That's what we want to see. And then he has to deal with the Doug Marrone disaster and now a new disaster. I don't think that DJ Chark forgot how to play football. I think he's still pretty good. And if people are like, I'm just done with DJ Chark, if you could get him for a second round pick, I would do it. I would do. So he's another one who's just not performing. And I don't think that's going to change, that I would be interested in buying.
But next year, one of those things.
You can pay a second round pick for someone who had, his kind of season as a second year player. I feel like that's just a gimme. I would pay a second for Juju too.
I mean, I'm tossing out hypotheticals here, but like Mike Williams could price himself out for the Chargers and DJ Chark could be the sub in number 2, just a hypothetical.
Maybe.
You never know. It's way too early for that.
He would kind of fit there. He would kind of fit there.
I've been subbing Mike Williams.
Let's move on to the next in advanced one. I was just offered Saquon for Carson straight up, full PPR redraft. Can't believe I'm asking this, but should I accept? Seems like a trap. Thanks from Hot Route 777. Redraft. You still taking Saquon?
I think you have to take the shot.
Carson is just not interesting enough to me.
Carson's not interesting enough. If it was like, oh gosh, I got to go to the rankings. Like
all right. Okay, fine. So let's play the game. Let's play the game for redraft. Redraft starting from the top. Christian McCaffrey, number 1.
Easy McCaffrey.
Cook, we don't know. Cook is gonna miss time. He's gonna miss time. That ankle injury, that looks serious. So he's gonna miss time. Ankle injury. I didn't know. There's just no way.
I didn't know.
There's no way he's gonna play next week. That's just not. That's not possible.
I missed some of that.
Well, he went to the tent, then he came back. Then he got hurt again, went to the 10 again, and then he came back. And then he got hurt again at the end of the game, and they're calling it an ankle injury. So an ankle injury, that is going to miss. He's going to miss time. There's just no way that he's going to be able to play. How is he going to play next week after an ankle injury? That just doesn't seem realistic. So, depending on what it is, if it's a regular ankle sprain, he might only miss a game. A high ankle sprain. You saw what that did to Saquon in 2019, and Cook is no Saquon. So,
yeah,
he's gonna miss serious time. Well, we saw what happened with Cook's injuries in the past with his torn ACL. It took him years to recover from that. So, I would be concerned. So, leaving Cook out of it.
Yeah.
Versus Saquon. So, I assume you would prefer McCaffrey.
Oh, yeah.
You prefer Kamara.
Probably.
Chubb.
Yeah.
Eckler.
After today, yeah. Last week, panic a little bit, but
Mixon.
Sure.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah, he's back.
Swift.
That target share, I think, trumps anything Saquon would get.
Aaron Jones, we haven't seen.
Not
after week 1.
Not after week 1. Give me Saquon, but I think
Yeah.
they're gonna bounce back
All
tomorrow
right.
night.
So, like, what
probably.
is Saquon for the rest of the season? I mean, low end RB1,
Sounds like it. I mean, I'm hoping
Najee or
that
Saquon rest of the season. Najee looked better in week
Najee
2, a lot
look
better.
better. You see that stiff arm?
It's not the stiff arm that I really was.
I'm just saying.
No, I
saying
did
that
see the
point
stiff
that-
arm, but it's actually the touchdown
Everything else.
reception. The touchdown
Oh,
reception
yeah.
where he displayed ability in the passing game. I need to, and now with if Deontay Johnson is out,
Mhm.
they don't. I mean, we can't go to Eric Ebron. More targets to Eric Ebron is not going to work. So they're going to rely on Najee even more in the passing game. He came off the field for 3 snaps, I think, today. 3 snaps, 95% snap share.
That's
So
not
it's
good.
just CMC and him.
Week 1.
And CMC missed time today. He missed time with cramps. So Najee's the only one getting that kind of workload.
I agree. I mean, it's getting closer at that point.
I think I'm just kind of I have an issue with I think I just have to change Barkley's dynasty ranking because it just makes no sense anymore. Like it makes no sense.
He's not going to get those targets.
No, he's not. And in dynasty, really, who would you rather have? Swift or Barkley?
See, I have to adjust because I think I had Barkley at 3 or 2.
Right, but that was before. I'm asking you now.
Before Swift, because I had Swift up. I had Swift at 5.
Who would you rather have, Najee or Barkley?
Who in Dynasty? Give me Najee. It's tough. It's like they're like there.
I think that's it though, because next is Gibson, who's been.
Gibson was another player that I wanted to bring up in the last segment because he's gotten the work, but he hasn't been like producing points.
Right, but I suspect that's where Barkley's going to fall, below Najee, but above Gibson. Because I don't
in that range.
I don't have the same confidence in Gibson.
If
Gibson keeps getting yanked for passing work, we're gonna have a problem.
That whole goal line set.
If that keeps happening,
you're on the 2 and you yank Gibson for JD McKissick. Like that's where
we had that too. Why was he coming off for goal line work from McKissick? You think Najee's coming off for any goal line work? I don't think
not coming out the field at all.
Najee's not coming in the field at all. So like that's my issue with Gibson. He's not as confident.
But Chris Carson is not appealing enough an option.
No, Chris Carson is very unappealing. Actually, I mean, Chris Carson, I don't see why Chris Carson would be appealing. I mean, he bailed out his day with 2 rushing touchdowns, but he was putrid. 13 for 31? Putrid. He offered nothing, by the way, nothing in the receiving game, even with Rashad Penny out. Nothing. 0 receptions. Travis Homer came into the game on 3rd downs. Why?
I couldn't tell you.
Honestly, Carson looked bad. And, he's 27. He runs the ball in his bruising style. And they were better off just letting Russ do his thing. He had a great game. Like throwing, he could do whatever he wanted. And running the ball with Carson was not helping them. So, they lost. And when you lose, you sometimes you change things. So I'm hoping that they eliminate Carson's 13 for 31 and maybe throw a little bit more. So I'll take Saquon there.
Oh yeah,
I really get to rant on this show when I have as much time as I want, don't I?
I mean, if he breaks another one of those runs, like he's, one of his signature runs, you could trade him and redraft for someone easily better than Chris Carson. Like after one of those weeks, because he's the name appeal too.
Look, this is it. Week 3, Atlanta. 10 days rest. No excuses. There will be no excuses. If he doesn't deliver, if he should be healthy. It's been a year since it was week 2 last year. It's been over a year. If he doesn't deliver this week, I said it about Najee against Vegas, and Najee delivered to my satisfaction. With his work in the receiving game, it wasn't perfect, but it was enough for me to get encouraged. He actually looked good, especially and the work in the passing game, which has not come for Saquon, by the way.
No,
it's not come. So if Saquon does not deliver against Atlanta, if he is as pedestrian, and he's been pedestrian, as he's been in the first 2 weeks, we're going to have a big problem. We're going to have a big problem, and we're going to have a different conversation. A different conversation, which is going to concern things like we may never see the same Saquon again. Or that was great what Saquon did in 2018 with Eli Manning, but he's just never going to be that guy again. Or, oh, what might have been. Because at some point, it's time to stop with the excuses. You can have excuses all you want, but excuses, they don't win you football games. They don't win you fantasy games. They don't score any points. So if there's going to be more excuses, then we're going to have an issue because against Atlanta, I mean, we've seen what Atlanta did the last 2 weeks. They can't do anything on defense. They're one of the worst defenses in the league against everything. Against everything. They can't stop anything. So if he doesn't deliver this week, then I'm just done.
I feel like it's the perfect setup. The snap share is ramping up. What was it, 87% of snaps?
It was 84.
It was 84. That's close enough.
Exactly it. The setup is perfect. If the setup's perfect and you don't deliver, then we have a problem. We have a problem.
He did flash that one run this past week. So like we know it's
not good enough.
I know but it's there. It's confirming that it's there.
It might be there, but if he doesn't do it, then it's going to be a problem because it's going to start to become, first of all, as a Giants fan, this team is a disaster. Kenny Golladay and Kadarius Toney are complaining about their roles constantly to anyone who will listen. And then Evan Ingram is nowhere to be found. His calf injury is just, we don't know when it happened. Really? We don't know what the return date is going to be. Nothing. Daniel Jones looked okay in the last game, but the defense was completely undisciplined. So if they lose this game to Atlanta, you're just going to see a downward spiral coming. So
Daniel Jones looked really good in the running game, though. He had a couple good runs.
He looked good in the running game, but
yeah, he's a quarterback.
They didn't win. They didn't win. They lost. And, Judge, Gettleman, and Jones are all playing for their jobs. If they don't win, they're going to be replaced with someone else.
Sterling Shepard's been looking good, though.
Yeah, that's actually a good story. I've always had kind of a soft spot for Sterling Shepard as a player. Just as a Giants fan, he's always kind of reliable when he's in there. So I'm glad to see him doing really well. That actually makes me kind of happy, to be honest. Oh, the chat is going completely insane. We've completely neglected it. Okay. All right. Let's just pick up where we left off. So, when healthy, Judy or Sutton? Answer seems obvious to me, but some disagree. It's obvious? Is it? You think it's obvious?
See, this is where it comes in because I'm like a huge Sutton guy, but I still think it's Judy.
It's always been Judy. It is obvious that it's Judy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Judy. It's Judy. It's been Judy the whole time. I do think that this is what I need to see from Sutton. I mean, Sutton is back.
Oh yeah.
Sutton's back. And he's someone that's going to be a dynasty asset. I don't care that it's the Jaguars. I mean, look, people laughed at me. I wanted to be like, I was like, start Sutton this week. And they were like, no, you don't do that. And I was like, but yes, the matchup is there.
Yeah, it was there.
He's the wide receiver 1 on the team, blah, 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 blah. I mean, last week was against the Giants. He had Bradbury, there were issues. His first game back from the injury, I would still start him this week. Oh, I really hope some people took my advice. I also hope that people listen to me on starting Tim Patrick over KJ Hamler. Oh, God.
Yeah, that didn't work out, the KJ Hamler.
No. Well, I said no. I said no to KJ Hamler.
Oh, Tim Patrick worked out, though. 30 and a score. When you're playing
Patrick
was like a low end.
Great, but he was better than Hamler. Hamler was terrible.
Well, Tim Patrick was good for the expectations you had for him. Like you weren't expecting Tim Patrick.
Was terrible.
Well, yeah, was a 0, wasn't it?
Hamler can't play football. Hamler just sucks. I think I saw enough.
You're plucking at the Penn State heartstrings over here.
I don't care. You have Chris Godwin and Allen Robinson. You don't need
yeah,
KJ.
I'm fine.
You have Saquon, Miles Sanders, Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson. You really need KJ Hamler to be a thing. That's necessary. That's going to make you feel good about yourself.
It completes the offense. The 3 wide receivers.
Well, no, the offense is not complete because KJ Hamler deserves a spot on the bench. Okay. What? I don't understand. No time. What does this mean? Think Christian?
Yeah, Christian. I think Christian covers college football. I think he's Debbie. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see many tweets on my timeline. I'll be quite honest.
Me neither.
I follow so many people.
I mostly follow him.
Yeah, for sure.
NFL though. I guess I don't get a lot of Debbie in my timeline. Maybe Twitter's smart. Maybe they know that I mostly want NFL. Twitter knows things. Hey, look, I can tell you. At one time, I'm talking about, and the people can do with this information what they want. One time, I'm talking about this like weird thing. I'm talking about it's something like crazy. It's like an air fryer. I'm talking about an air fryer, and then I'm talking about an air fryer, and then I open just talking about it. I'm not on my phone. I'm not typing anything. I'm just talking about it, and then I open Twitter, and immediately an advertisement for an air fryer.
Do you have one? It's a game changer.
No, I do have one, but like I was talking about an air fryer.
Take a second.
No, it is a game changer. I love air fryers.
Oh my gosh,
it's so good.
We go on for that.
We go on about that forever. But it's crazy that I'm talking about an air fryer, and then immediately I open Twitter, an advertisement comes up for an air fryer. It's almost like they knew. Almost like they knew. All right. Juju is not underrated. Juju is like the most overrated player in the league. You just think he's underrated because you hear a lot of fantasy and dynasty analysts bashing on Juju, but a lot of NFL analysts are very high on Juju, and Juju is so overrated.
How long ago was it? Was he the dynasty wide receiver one? Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, well, that was a mistake. Whoops, I wasn't there. Juju was better as a prospect in 2 years in, but that was 3 years ago. What about today? Well, right now we're on today. I'm not on 2 years ago. 2 years ago, it's the same thing as excuses. Does 2 years ago score me any fantasy points today? I don't think so. 2 years ago doesn't do me any good. 3 years ago. Yeah, this was about the Deontay being out, but let's focus on how long Deontay is out for. We have no idea. I mean, Raheem Mostert, the injury kind of looked minor, and then out for the year. And Deontay Johnson in week 1 goes off to the sideline. It's like, that's a season-ending injury, and then it's he returns to the game. Jerry Jeudy's like carted off, and it looks like this is going to be a complete disaster. And then it's only a high ankle sprain. It's going to be 4 to 6 weeks. So we'll see how long Deontay's out.
I'm so mad that happened on a meaningless play down 9.
Stupid. It's so stupid.
Come on, Tom.
What are we doing here? The game was out of reach. Like, why? Why? Deontay gets hurt all the time. Take him out of the game. Come on. It's not like it was a 7-point game.
No,
it was a 9-point game. Come on, Mike Tomlin. What the fuck? Like, seriously. I can curse on here because this is my fucking channel. Like, really? Like, take your starters out of the game. It's a 9-point game on the last play. Why is Deontay Johnson in the game? Come on. It's unacceptable. I have a lot of respect for Mike Tomlin as a coach. I think he's a great coach. But great coaches make mistakes, and that was stupid. So, it was stupid, and now he is paying the price for his stupidity. Really? I mean, that's what happened, right? I mean, sorry, this is the kind of thing that like pisses me off because the NFL is a violent game. It's a violent sport, and these players are valuable, and they're vulnerable to injury on every play. So you should take your starters out. So stupid, right? Am I I'm not missing something here.
Dude, on the last play in a meaningless game, no. Like I said, it would have been a different story if the score was within 7.
If it was a 1-score game, that's different.
It is different. So you're right. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying it would have been different if the score was.
No, I agree with you. It's not you. I'm just annoyed at the situation. I'm pissed.
It's tough.
It's so stupid. It's frustrating. It's
That is
frustrating even more so because I really like Deontay Johnson. I do. People think I'm like a Chase Claypool truther, but it's more that I'm a Juju hater. I have a lot of respect for Deontay Johnson. I've said many times that I think Deontay Johnson does everything Juju does except twice as good. That's really what my opinion is of Deontay Johnson as a player. I like Deontay Johnson. And I don't want to see him miss time, even though it would really help me in fantasy if he did. Because somehow, among the teams I manage and co-manage, I have no Deontay Johnson and a significant portion of Juju. Somehow.
It's one of those things that just happen. Juju's one of those players that just ends up on your team now.
No, it's just I don't know how I have no Deontay Johnson. I tried to trade for him all this last week and got nowhere. And I'm kind of glad those trades didn't go through. Sometimes there's trades you don't make.
Yeah.
I'm hating on Juju because he's not very good. He's not. I mean, look at his reception perception. He can't win. He can't win on routes. He's just not good. He's fine. He's okay. That's it, though. You've seen the chart. It's red everywhere.
I have seen.
You've seen Deontay's. It's green everywhere. We know.
So I'm so hurt. I'm still hurt about that one.
No, about Deontay. Look, I don't want to talk about Deontay getting
we're
injured
done
on the
talking
last
about
play
that.
of a
We're
fucking
done.
meaningless game. No. I mean, I can talk about it as much as I want. It's my fucking channel. But like,
it's aggravating.
People have heard me yell about it enough. They know how I feel. I really do have a lot of respect for Mike Tomlin as a coach. Honestly,
oh yeah,
I think he's one of the best coaches in the league.
I mean, he won what 10 games with Mason Rudolph at quarterback. And
no, he's one of the best coaches in the league. It's just, Andy Reid makes mistakes too. I have a lot of respect for him. Bill Belichick is not always perfect. Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Chart. I don't know what chart he's talking about.
The reception perception.
This is good. This is good. Well, no, but that was like 20 minutes ago. So so I don't know what. Yeah, we're way behind. Like this is 30 minutes ago. So Henry received. Let's talk about that. Because I talked about that in my article as well. That's going to come out tomorrow. So Henry, I believe career high according to Ryan McDowell. So if it's wrong, send your complaints to him. I'm kidding. Ryan is the best. But he did say, so I'll trust him, that Henry's 6 catches for 65 yards or 55 yards were career highs. How's that? What do you think about that? You think this is an aberration or something to consider?
I mean, 6, no, but if you look at his first game, he had 4 as well. So maybe it's a trend, a new starting trend with the new Tannehill.
My opinion is that they've decided that they're better off with Henry in the receiving game than Jeremy McNichols. I think that they wanted to use Darrington Evans in this role. And if Darrington Evans had been healthy, he would have played in this role. But he's not. And I don't know when he's going to come back. And it could be a while. So until then, I think they're going to use Henry as a total workhorse. When Evans comes back, I think they're going to give him the receiving work. But we weren't relying on it. We assumed Henry would get like no receiving work. So any receiving work is bonus. This game made me feel better about Derrick Henry than I did after week 1. Like, I was the most sold on Henry of the 3. I wrote a little bit of a panic article on Tannehill, Henry, and Julio. Henry sold me the most. He looks fine. The problems were systemic.
Yeah.
Not Henry specific.
I mean, Julio looked good today, too.
Julio looked good, but there were some weird things going on. There were multiple plays on the goal line where he was on the sideline. There were still issues last week with the coaching staff. I am less convinced about Julio, and I am not convinced about Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill, I'm worried.
Well, obviously, it'd go in that order for me, too. But like I said, the refs did take away a touchdown from Julio. The stat line was a little better.
I included that in the article. I included that. But Julio, I'm still a little worried, but not as much as I was last week.
I agree.
All right. Ed said Zeke isn't bad. Nobody thinks Zeke is bad, right? I think people overreact. I mean, yeah, Zeke isn't what he was, but Zeke is not bad. I mean, right? I don't think he's bad.
That week 1 game sent people in a spin, and it was against the
Yeah,
Buccaneers, and
you know,
50 times.
if you told most teams that they could have a running back that took 16 carries, averaged 4.4 per carry on those, scored a touchdown and caught a couple of passes, I mean, that's good, not bad.
A lot of
So
teams would take that easy.
yeah, so like, and Zeke's best ability is his availability. Zeke's never had a major injury.
No, he's fantastic in pass pro too, so he's going to stay in there a
Good in
lot.
pass pro. He's a fine receiver. He's not bad. Zeke is not going anywhere. But in Dynasty, I'm kind of look in redraft. I think we have to accept that I always had Zeke here, but I think that we have to accept that we're getting 2020 Zeke.
Yeah.
And not the first 5 games. We're getting the last 11. Like, maybe not quite that bad, but it's closer to that. Like, I think Zeke, where would you rank him rest of the season? I mean, he's probably like, I'm not even sure he's an RB1.
I think, where did I put him? I'd probably put him at like 14, 15.
All right, rest of season, Zeke or PPR. Rest of season, Zeke or Chubb?
Nick Chubb.
Zeke or Jonathan Taylor?
You can't ask me that.
Why not?
Because I'm a Jonathan Taylor guy, and that today concerned me with along with Spence. That did concern me today. I agree with him.
So I feel like it's easy to prefer McCaffrey, Kamara, Cook if he's healthy, Chubb, Eckler, Henry, Najee, Taylor, and probably Swift also at this point. So where does it get difficult? Zeke or Barkley? Rest of season.
Probably Zeke. I want to take Barkley, but it's so it's
Zeke or those two are going to be like back to back. I probably prefer Barkley. I'm actually more worried about Zeke in terms of the upside's just not there. Zeke or Montgomery?
Ooh, Monty's good.
That's close, right?
It's close. Give me Zeke just because the offense is going to be better.
Okay. Zeke and I think that's it really, because it's after that it's pretty Zeke or Gibson.
Zeke, even though I like Gibson a lot.
Really interesting.
It's so tough with Gibson. If you get pulled on the goal line and you get
I would take Gibson in rest of season.
I wanna, but
I don't believe in Zeke anymore. I think Zeke has no upside. So Dynasty, let's move to Dynasty.
Oh, it's Dynasty. Oh, this is...
No, we're moving to that was redraft. That was.
I was about to say I take back all my answers.
No, that was redraft. That was redraft. The rest of season. Now we're moving to Dynasty for Zeke. Zeke or I assume these are easy, like Zeke or Swift, Zeke or Harris, Gibson, Chubb. Those are all the other players.
Those are layups.
So Zeke or Mixon, Dynasty.
Give me Mixon with the age.
I feel like it's got to be Mixon, right? I mean, he's younger and he's more of a workhorse and he looked better.
Yep.
That one I feel like is easy. Zeke or this one I think is easy after this week. Zeke or Henry.
For this season.
No, Dynasty. Dynasty.
I feel like I'd go Henry, and you could trade him later in the season.
Yeah. Zeke or Javonte Williams?
Javonte. I think Javonte is gonna fly up those ranks later this year.
All right. Some players who are a little bit, other players. Zeke or Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Give me Zeke, dude.
Yeah, no Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that.
I have a few more names. Zeke or Austin Eckler, Dynasty.
Eckler.
Yeah, honestly, I'm starting to get to that point where I just think Zeke's upside is just gone.
See, going back to the redraft, I'm going to change my answer on the Gibson thing. because if Gibson starts getting that work we think he does.
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna change that one. The other ones I'm gonna keep.
So some more Dynasty. Zeke or David Montgomery?
Oh my gosh, that's another tough one. I feel like Monty would. Justin Fields might sap a little bit of his upside, but I'll still go Monty just with the age.
Zeke or Miles Sanders?
That's where we're starting to get iffy.
Starting to get there.
Starting to get there. Give me Miles Sanders by a hair.
I can't do it.
Like this close.
I can't do it.
This close.
And we haven't seen it yet. It could be really bad after week 1. But what week 1 was? But Zeke or Aaron Jones?
I bank on Aaron Jones coming back.
Aaron Jones is older than Zeke.
I know, but I think it's a bounce back game in Detroit.
I'm even more out on Aaron Jones than I am on Zeke.
I just think he's going to rebound. You can get more for him in a trade.
I don't know if you can.
You got a point with the name value.
It's the other way around. Zeke carries, yes.
Oh no, that's what I was saying. Zeke has a name value.
Yeah. So Zeke is why. That's part of why I would keep Zeke over Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is hated in the Dynasty more casual world. They're like, why is he always coming off the field at the goal line? Whereas like Zeke is like a name. Like Zeke carries a name, much more name value than Aaron Jones. And then I think that's it for anything realistic. So, but yeah, I'm looking at it, and right now I had Zeke above like Javonte, and I think I'm going to move him. I think I'm going to move him down, and then I even look at wide receivers like Zeke versus Chris Godwin. I'd rather have Godwin. Zeke versus even like T. Higgins and DJ Moore.
I think them both.
Yeah, I'd probably rather Moore, but not Higgins after this week. But that's about right. I mean, I just think Zeke is kind of like, he is what he is. He's going to be a borderline RB1 at best for the rest of the season, and he's a dying asset in Dynasty. You know what you have.
See, but you're
not getting the old Zeke back.
You're going to have a lot of, I feel like there's going to be a couple of windows where you could trade him away for like significant value.
Yeah, I think he's going to
have those boom games.
I think you have 2 serviceable years left of something, but that's just not that exciting. So I'm good getting out early. I'm not buying Zeke.
If I'm trading him away, I'd have to wait until he has another one. He's gonna have a huge game.
I don't want to wait on a running back like Zeke.
I think I don't know.
This game wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
This wasn't that bad. It could get much worse.
It could. I just feel like it could get better. There's gonna be at least one more week.
It could get much worse.
I know as Kyle Shanahan says. Kyle Shanahan says there's nothing's a guarantee.
I don't want to wait because the reason I don't want to wait is what if we come out next week and Pollard leads the backfield in touches? Then you can forget it. No one will ever forget that.
Well, Twitter won't exist after that one because they'll get
right. But what I'm saying is no one will ever forget that, and then it doesn't matter if Zeke has a good game 2 weeks later because it's too late. It's too late at that point. It's over. So I still think it's not over, and I would get out now because I think now is the time. I do.
I think he's gonna get better. I don't know.
I mean, if I could just move on from Zeke and get like, I don't know if this is realistic, but he had a bad game this week, so it's possible. I could get like Devonta Smith and like another player who really didn't do anything, who I like or something, like Devonta Smith and Rashad Bateman, Devonta Smith and Elijah Moore, like something like that.
That's basically almost 2 first-round picks, like
right. But that's what. But I think I could get that.
I mean,
those players that do well. People are impatient, man. People are impatient.
The player values fluctuate very quickly. I mean, Zeke does have. I was trying to get the next week's matchup. He does go to Philly, which.
And are we sure that that's a good thing?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know at this point. I mean, they just lost Brandon Graham for the season, so I don't know what their run defense is going to look like. So we'll see. But it's not the best matchup.
I mean, they bottled up Elijah Mitchell this week.
Yeah, but
also Jimmy Garoppolo had 11 carries. So
it was
weird.
A wild game. It was a wild
Very
game.
wild. All right. Is he going away? He isn't going away. I don't know. Zeke? No. Okay. If Cooper and Gallup, but we know Gallup is missing time. If Cooper misses time, he had an injury today. 21 personnel help Pollard short term. So we always want teams to go to 21 personnel. They never, ever do. They never do. So maybe, but I would not count on it. I would expect them to go to 12. I would expect them to go to 12 at that point. I would expect them to use 12 as their base. Did they use 12 as their base this week, or did they still do 11 with Cedric Wilson? I need to look at the snap counts. That's something I want to look at, is how much Jarwin, Schultz, and Wilson played, and how if they went to any 21. So we need the snap count. I need the snap count data to answer that question. But I will get that. I will look at that, and that's something I'm looking for this week. 100%.
Jarwin had a good week this week, so I'd imagine they played 12 if Schultz was the starter. But I don't know. They
could have rotated. They could have rotated, and Jarwin came in on more passing plays. I need the snap counts for that. I need the detailed snap counts.
Cedric Wilson only had 2 targets.
But we always want people to play 21 personnel, and no one ever does. So my bet is no, that at most you're going to get a few plays in 21 personnel.
Yeah, I thought I was confusing 12 and 21 there at the beginning of the question. It's 120.
21
it's 120
is
in the morning.
Two running backs, a tight end, and 2 wide receivers.
I flipped them. It's 120 in the morning. Yes.
Maybe for cheap. Yes.
Yes.
Take one. No.
In the trade. I think he's talking about the trade.
Yeah. Sure. Kittle and Ayuk, worried about them? Oh, not performing players.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Ridley scored today. I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, Ridley scored and had plenty of targets both weeks. He doesn't count. AJ Brown.
He's getting there. He's getting
there. And I would buy. I mentioned Metcalf as well. Boo! Stop the Juju hate. Why? Have you never watched one of my shows? This is every show. Every show we talk about Doo Smith Booster.
Oh my gosh.
Doo Smith Booster is what we talk about on this show. It's better than Carson Failure.
He might miss some time. That's why I'm really concerned about JT. If JT has to go out there with Eason, it's not going to be fun.
Eason looked terrible.
It's not going to be fun for JT.
Eason looked terrible. You know what the worst thing is? Do you know all my nicknames?
I know a couple of them.
Which ones do you know?
I know Carson Failure. What was the one you used last week?
No, actually, he's been changed. Now he's Carson Won'ts.
Carson Won'ts.
Because he won't do anything.
Oh my gosh. I remember the one for Drew Lock, but Drew Lock is a backup at this point.
Drew Disaster.
Yep. Oh gosh, who else was there? I don't know if I remember any of the other ones. Those are the two that stood out to me when I watched the shows.
Joshua Fumble. Joshua Kelly. Kalen Mirage, Benny Snail, and Anthony McFailure. I really pick on McFailure. McFailure is the one I really pick on. Because some people really touted him. They were wrong. They were very wrong. I like to pick on McFailure. Because he's the one that people really liked.
I remember that narrative. Oh gosh, was it the offensive coordinator or was the running backs coach coached him at Maryland?
Who cares?
People were hyping him up. I'm just saying that's the narrative I remember from when people were hyping him up. One of the coaches he coached.
Good one. I have a good one. Clyde Average Hilaire. Average Hilaire.
I can't believe tonight.
I know. Look, his dynasty value is finished. It's finished. When you fumble in front of everyone and it costs the team the game, that's it. That's it. He's done. Nobody's ever going to trade for him again. So he's finished.
Okay, I have to ask. Last 3, 4, 5 years, is he the worst dynasty rookie draft pick?
No.
With where he was going.
No, Rashad Penny is. Rashad Penny at 102 is the worst.
That might have been a little bit before my time.
Rashad Penny at 102 is the worst because Nick Chubb was available. Nick Chubb was available, and we know what you missed. We know what you missed. You've missed multiple running back 1 seasons already, and could be multiple more coming. And Rashad Penny has offered you a big fat nothing. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 1,100 yards last season. Rashad Penny has offered you a big fat 0. So, yeah, Rashad Penny at 102. There's also another bad one. Remember that in 2017, Corey Davis was the consensus 101. How is that going? When Christian McCaffrey was available in that draft.
Not ideal.
Not good. Also, other bad ones include 2019 N'Keal Harry. 101 N'Keal Harry.
Mm-hmm.
When AJ Brown, DK Metcalf, and then even Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, and Miles Sanders, whatever they are a lot better than N'Keal Harry. So there are some of the bad ones. I wouldn't say Clyde Edwards-Helaire is the worst rookie draft pick ever. But
it was a fair question because of all the players drafted after him and what their values are at right now with JT.
Pretty much every player after him
after
has hit.
Like the 6 after him.
The fact that Akers and Dobbins have gone down kind of makes it a little bit less bad.
Yeah, but that was by injury. So like,
would you give the injured J.K. Dobbins for the healthy Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
No.
So that's where you're at.
That's where I'm at.
What about Cam Akers?
I mean, the Achilles is scaring me less and less because Marlon Mack actually looked okay.
He looked okay.
He looked okay today. So like, I'm in. Like, I need to trade for Cam Akers.
We'll see.
I'm just out on CEH. It is the
Please.
It's the perfect system for CEH.
Tell Juju to win a route against man once in his life, and then maybe I'll agree. Has Keenan Allen not been performing?
He had 100 yards today. I don't.
He performed last week, didn't he?
I believe he had 26 points last week. I get an accurate number on that.
I certainly don't include. Yeah.
He had 9 for 100 last week.
Yeah, no. Keenan Allen is very much producing. He does not fit in this category. I don't know what all those comments were referring to. Wager. I don't
think we talked about that.
We don't know if we talked about that. Saquon top 5 rest of season. Fuck no.
I hope so.
Fuck no. No. Just no. Hard no. No. I personally don't believe that you're ever getting 2018 Saquon back. I think it's a question of now, can you get good Saquon back? How good is it going to be? I have serious concerns.
Would you consider Allen Robinson in that group of players? He did score today.
No.
But it wasn't impressive.
He's been fine. Has he been bad?
He scored.
Yeah, today was not good. 2 for 24, but he bailed himself out with a touchdown, so he's probably not going to be viable.
I know. I'm just asking.
I think people are they know Fields is coming now that Dalton was hurt. It's just not. If Fields comes in and then Robinson fails in that first game, then I might want to buy him. But I think there's too much excitement around Fields, I just don't think Robinson is viable. That's a terrible idea. That's a terrible idea. I'm out on Saquon top 2 dynasty. No, thank you. No, thank you.
I was gonna say Mike Evans before today after week 1, but
not
today. Not today.
No. Now is your chance. Now is your chance to get out. Now is your chance to get out and never look back.
I was talking about redraft.
It's still your chance to get out and never look back. I mean, next week is gonna be like
the Chris Godwin or the AB show or something.
Yeah, I really feel. To me, I felt the whole time that I think Chris Godwin is going to be the most consistent of the 3, and he's the only one who's been useful in both games. Right? He's the only one who was useful in both games. Evans was useful in game 2, and Brown was useful in game 1, but Godwin has been useful in both games. I think the problem is that Gronk has been better than people expected. And that's kind of gumming up the works here. So this offense is just insane, but I still think that, I think it's going to be what I thought, that Godwin's going to be the one, and Evans and Brown are going to trade off. They're closer than I originally had them, but not as close as I thought after week 1. Like, I think for the rest of the season, if I had to guess, I'm probably going to have Godwin about where I had him before, which is like wide receiver 14, 15. Evans a touch lower than I had him in the pre-draft process. Maybe like I had him wide receiver 19, I think, when I locked my draft rankings. I think I'm going to have him like wide receiver 21. And Brown, I'm probably going to have like in wide receiver 3 territory, like wide receiver 26 or 27. So about an equal spread between the 3, from Godwin to Evans to Brown, in that order. But I still would get out on Evans because he's not the one Godwin is, and he will be long term.
Yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm looking around here looking for players. I mean, if Chase Claypool didn't have that big catch today, maybe.
Yeah, but he did. And now with Deontay injured, forget it.
Yeah,
he wants to make trades with us. Well, good luck with that. I don't play a lot of leagues anymore outside of my Patreon. You might be playing against me and you don't know it. But the odds that I join new leagues on my own are basically 0. I'm focused on content at this point. I don't have time. I mean, I don't have time or mental energy to fully devote myself to playing these leagues in the way that I want to. I just don't. I am focused on content. And if I'm not going to give 100% of myself to something, then I don't really want to do it. And I'm more focused on, my Patreon leagues. And I'll put the link to that in the chat. Where, like, in those, I'm helping someone out. And, I've gotten messages like, hey, like, this made me happy. Or, like, I've never, had this good of a team, or blah blah blah, and like that's better for me than any fantasy title could win. It's not like I'm not a high stakes player or anything like that. So you'll probably never get the chance unless you play against one of my patrons. But
or an SFB, but not Dynasty.
There's no trades in SFB.
I know.
So maybe, but if you're trading against me, you probably don't know it. Gibson clearly not the goal line or third back. Okay, he's the goal line. That was one carry does not tell me who the goal line back is.
I honestly, if you look how the Giants lined up on that play, I honestly believe that's the only reason they brought McKissick in, was to like fool them, because there was like no one on the left side of the line.
No, I agree.
And if you would have brought Gibson in, there would have been people there, of course.
No, I agree. He's the goal line back, but not the third down back. I think he's at his half right.
Stinks.
This is just wrong at this point. I'm sorry. It's just wrong. It's bad advice. It's bad advice. I can't endorse it. I'm sorry. I just can't do it. I really can't.
I'm trying to think of the other names I have up there.
Oh, I mean,
JT.
Give me a lot of receivers. I'll take Jonathan Taylor over Saquon Barkley at this point, easily. And then give me Jefferson, Brown, and Metcalf, the big 3 young receivers. And honestly, I'd rather have Tyreek Hill at this point as well. I think you're more likely to get 3-4 viable years out of Tyreek Hill than you are Saquon Barkley. And Tyreek Hill is a game-breaking difference maker in fantasy. Yeah, maybe he wasn't this week. But you find someone else who's playing with Patrick Mahomes who can give you his type of boom weeks.
Just 45 on a random week.
Yeah, no, you find someone else who can do that. So, yeah, I mean, and Hill is in a similar place on the age curve to Saquon in terms of running backs and wide receivers. So, and I'm more confident in Hill's production.
I'm assuming he means in one quarterback PPR too.
Yeah, he's got to be in there.
Yeah.
At this point in Dynasty, I mean, would you rather have Kamara or Barkley?
See, I'm out on Kamara, so like Saquon, I'm just out on Kamara. I'm not sold.
I think it's more that I have Saquon,
lower.
Kamara, and Cook all too high. They all need to come down. Because I think I still have it in that order. Saquon, Kamara, Cook. But I think they're all too high, and they're all going to come down after this week. Because I assume Saquon or CeeDee Lamb?
CeeDee Lamb.
Gotta have CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb.
Gotta have CeeDee Lamb.
He's going to be so good.
He had a great game. great game this week. And he
He's
stepped
had-
up. He stepped up.
Both of his weeks have been pretty
He was
fantastic.
good last week, but he had a great game this week too. But he stepped up.
Good for 80 in that
I
rush.
just gotta have CeeDee Lamb over Saquon. I can't. I just can't do it. Yeah, I can't take Saquon there. So, and then, like I said, I'd rather have Swift at this point.
I don't know if I'm there yet.
I'm just done. So yeah, at this point, Saquon's got to win my love back. He's lost it. So
He's got the layup. He's got the layup to do it.
And remember what I said: if he doesn't deliver,
we're gonna have.
If he doesn't deliver, we're gonna have a problem. We're gonna have a problem. Carson was always good to catch passes, not today. But Carson offers nothing special in the receiving game. He offers nothing special in the receiving game. He's average. Average.
When I think of Chris Carson, I think of mid RB2. That's what I think of when I think of Chris Carson in fantasy. He's usually finished better than that, but
yeah. Long time ago. And one of those was with Eli Manning. Is it possible? People don't want to hear this, but is it possible he's just not the same player anymore? Is that possible? Is that impossible that he's just not the same player? People don't want to hear that.
How many rushing attempts did Daniel Jones have? 9.
But maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe that's part of the problem, the similar Lamar Jackson problem. Maybe it's this part of the problem that Daniel Jones doesn't come down. Maybe Saquon's just not the same player anymore. I have to be so down on Saquon as a Giants fan, but like, I'm worried. I am worried. Because you've put yourself in a position where if you're buying Saquon, one more back, because I think the last game is not just, I'm not the only one saying this. I think for a lot of people, next week is the last straw. If he doesn't deliver, their panic mode is enabled. I don't think people are panicking yet. One more bad game, and I think that panic is in full force.
I think, like I was talking about that earlier, that one long run kind of saved the panic.
No, I think people were willing to write off this game on short rest no matter what. I think it's just
defense.
that no matter how he did. But I think one more bad game, and there's no writing it off. So I don't want to put myself in a position where I need someone to deliver now. Otherwise, the value goes away. I'm just never putting myself in that position. I don't want a player like that. So I'm hard not buying Saquon right now. If he fails against Atlanta and the floor bottoms out, then maybe I would consider buying Saquon at a deep discount. But I'm not buying him now. The discount's not deep enough. Yes, the Giants suck. Thank you for reminding me that, Ed. I really didn't need, as someone who's from New York and as a Giants fan, I really needed you to tell me. I do. I don't know what he's talking about. Judy, recency bias may sway some. Look, I mean, Sutton's not a bad player, but in Dynasty, I'll still prefer Judy for the age. But Sutton, I mean, I had Sutton ranked decently high in Dynasty before this week. But yeah, I mean, Sutton or Cooper Kupp.
Man, after what we know,
right?
It's got to be Kupp. He's the number one there.
Yeah, and then the next receiver I have is Waddle.
Oh, you're taking Cortland Sutton then? I would.
No, Waddle, the next receiver up.
Oh.
I have Waddle very high.
Well, I'd probably take Sutton, but I respect the take because if Jalen Waddle hits his ceiling is insane.
And I'd rather have Sutton over Juju Debo that we talked about before.
Yeah.
So I think I have Sutton ranked about right, but I might. I have him behind. I don't know. I mean, Kupp is probably moving up too. Like right now, I have Sutton like behind guys like Josh Jacobs, Akers, Etienne. That's probably going to change.
Yeah, Waddle's quietly been getting the targets too.
Yeah, no, I have Waddle very high, and I'm not going to change it.
He had 8
Yeah.
today.
I'm going to move Sutton above Ayuk. Sutton is going to be ranked above Ayuk at this point. Sure.
I think you have to.
Very wrong. Incorrect. Judy's very capable of being the number one on the team. I think Judy can deliver what Stephon Diggs delivers. Not quite at that level, but I think Judy's perfectly capable.
Stephon Diggs is lofty.
Sure, but I think that's his ultimate ceiling. If you want a better comp that's more realistic than Deontay Johnson, who's also capable of being a one. I vehemently disagree with that. I think Sutton might be underrated, but I strongly disagree that Sutton looked like crap in week 1, and Judy was spalling. He didn't need Sutton to play well. Sutton looked better this week. Sutton looked healthy, but he didn't look healthy in week 1. So Judy doesn't need anyone to do that. I mean, we saw who the number 1 was in week 1 when Judy was healthy. We saw that what they wanted to do. I do think Courtland Sutton is slightly underrated, but for me, it was only a health concern. It was only a health concern, and now he looks healthy. So that's all. He didn't look healthy before. People can tell you that they think he did, but I disagree. I think he looked healthy for the first time this week. So that's my opinion. Yes, Juju can't win against man. He can't win against man. He can't win against press. So, you say that, but he couldn't win against man against press in 2018 either. So, I don't know. It's weird. He's one of those ones where the warning signs were there. That the production was not sustainable. I don't know.
He's weird art for Juju.
Odd, yeah, very odd. He's not bad. But he's not that good. People figured him out.
I get what you're trying to say.
Fuck. There it is. It doesn't mean that, but it's not like Deontay's the best receiver in the league and he's better than Juju in every single way. So Juju is acceptable. He's fine. He's good in the slot. He's one of the best slot receivers in the league. Is that like a crisis? No. But he can't win on the outside. He's never been able to win on the outside properly. He's not going to start winning on the outside now. That's all it is. He's a limited player who's good at what he does and nothing else. Whereas Deontay can do everything. Yeah, I like this. I like it a lot. I like Deontay, but Javonte Williams I like a lot more.
The value, I think, on Javonte Williams is going to soar.
You're not going to be able to get Javonte Williams for this price anytime. Very soon.
He's going to be one of those guys that you're going to regret.
Oh, he's going to be one of those guys. He's going to be one of those guys like Cam Akers was before he got hurt. I mean, that's what he's going to be. So this is a steal. This is a steal.
Even though I love.
Yeah, but why? But Juju doesn't look good. He doesn't look good. He looks average. He just doesn't look like that guy. He doesn't look like an alpha. He doesn't act like an alpha. He's never open. Never open. He doesn't separate. It's not just reception perception. My own eyes tell me that I just don't buy it.
Wasn't Deontay number 1 in separation last year?
Yeah, he's number 1. He's number 1 in separation from his routes, winning on routes. He is one of the best route trees, whereas Juju has one of the worst. And it's not like reception perception says one thing and my eyes tell me a different thing. My eyes agree. He just doesn't, he doesn't look like that. That's all. Sometimes I disagree with things like reception perception. Like, I don't always agree. Like, reception perception is not the be all and end all of everything. Like,
I wouldn't. Oh, I'm reading the trade-off already.
well, right, but there are some players who, there's some players who are not the best separators in the world. Like, I'm sure you'll find that Calvin Johnson is not the best separator of all time. He's in the Hall of Fame. Right? Like, it doesn't, separation is not everything. Winning on routes is not everything. But
I got
but Juju's not
finger placement. Don't trade this man.
Yeah.
Don't trade Jamar Chase.
No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to trade Jamar Chase. It's actually a fair offer, though.
It's not a bad offer. Diggs.
It's a pretty good offer.
Gaskin, I don't know how I really.
Honestly, I actually kind of like this offer. I mean, if you're really desperate, if you're a desperate contender, I don't hate this offer. But I can't do it.
I can't trade away Jamar Chase.
Unfortunately, I'm not a psychic, so
Yeah,
I don't know about Deontay Johnson's injury because that would require me to know what's wrong with him.
I'm stunned we haven't gotten a report. I said that before.
Yeah, me too. That's probably a good sign because if it were torn ACL, we would know. But gotta think he's gonna miss. I gotta think he's gonna miss significant time. You usually don't have knee injuries and then come back. You can't just tape a knee.
And like the camera angle on the play,
it looks bad.
Yeah.
At this point, I hope it's not season ending. I hope it's just something like a knee bruise or a sprained MCL, like Jarvis Landry may have had, that maybe he'll just miss a few weeks. And like Chubb had a sprained MCL last year. He missed 4 or 5 games and then came back. And he came back at 100% when he came back. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that it's that. But you prepare for him to miss time. Prepare for him to miss time. So you have to prepare. You have to prepare. Redraft. Okay. I mean, it is what it is.
Oh, redraft. I might.
Oh, redraft. I would take
Diggs. I'd do that. Yeah.
Yeah, take Diggs. Redraft. Take Diggs. Easily take Diggs in that trade. Take Diggs and redraft.
Yeah, take Diggs. 200%.
Running back are so weird this year. Are they?
A little bit.
Think so?
A little bit. I mean, when Derrick Henry was off and we were all, on the panic boat, it was different.
This is weirder than any other year, though.
You have your oddities and, the outperformers and the underperformers. I don't know. Maybe it's just not the touchdowns.
Oh, here, I just got a trade question. Let's answer it. I got it on Twitter.
Oh, boy.
I was offered Mark Andrews for Debo and Gesicki. That's it.
No Dynasty.
What do you think?
I mean, redraft probably not. Dynasty.
I'd probably keep Debo and Gesicki no matter what.
I'd think about it in Dynasty, though. How old is Mark Andrews again? 26?
26.
I get it. Mark Andrews wasn't good in week 1. He just wasn't. He was all right tonight.
Also, I just got asked Pollard or Sermon in Dynasty, and it's Pollard.
Pollard, yeah. Trey Sermon's never going to receive another carry again in his life. He gets one opportunity. I hope he's all right after that concussion because he looked in serious pain after that hit.
I mean, the 49ers have an issue because Sermon, Mitchell, and Hasty all got hurt. Sermon is in concussion protocol. He's not going to play the next game. It's very difficult to clear in 1 week. So you expect him to miss this week. Mitchell, shoulder injury. He returned to the game, so he's probably going to be good to go. Hasty, what even happened to Hasty? Was it a knee injury?
I believe so.
He never came back. So my guess is Mitchell is going to be the only one of those 3 to play. And then they have Trenton Cannon and Kerryon Johnson on the practice squad.
I thought Kerryon was hurt.
Kerryon Johnson on the practice squad.
I was about to say all the free agent running backs are in Baltimore.
Yes, Todd Gurley. Are you available?
You know how cool that would be?
Is available.
That would be a bad signing because their next game.
All right, so let's answer James's question though about this. Should I keep Sermon or Mitchell? So redraft is easy, right? Redraft Mitchell, right?
Yeah, Mitchell.
Dynasty at this point. I went into this week with Sermon ahead. Mitchell looked terrible.
He did.
But
Sermon had good burst on that one run too.
Well,
I know it's one run. I know it's one run.
One run which he fumbled on.
We're not going to talk about the end of the run.
Well, let's talk about the end of the run. The part where he fumbled, flipped halfway over in the air, and then landed on his head. So that's what he managed to do.
I don't know. It's tough.
Redraft is easily Mitchell. We talked about that. What about Dynasty? Yeah. Are you at the point of preferring Mitchell, or are you still not there?
I need one more week on Mitchell.
So, from this week, based on everything that happened this week, Are you moving Mitchell up your dynasty rankings or down? Because he got injured, looked horrible, was pulled at the goal line for Hasty multiple times, and we're 1 week closer to Jeff Wilson coming back, who I can't tell you
He's gonna win.
is infinitely better than any of these people.
He's gonna win that backfield.
Right. So let me reset that question then. Based on what the events of this week in their entirety, are you moving Mitchell up or down dynasty ranks? Because I would say down.
I'd probably say down a couple spots.
So then the question is,
he took such a big leap after week one.
So we know that Sermon's going down dynasty. He's going down and going down hard. He didn't get any carries, managed to get in there for one carry, fumbled, and suffered a concussion. So we know he's going down dynasty ranks. So really the question is, if Mitchell's going down a little bit, is Sermon going down enough to go all the way past Mitchell?
We might be at that point.
I think we're not far from that point because when's he
gonna get his next game?
Okay, so here's where I have Elijah Mitchell right now. So Elijah Mitchell right now, I have there's actually no running back close to being above him, but he's in a tier just above. These are the players I have right below Elijah Mitchell. Melvin Gordon, Kenneth Gainwell, Naheem Hines, Mike Davis, Devin Singletary, Jamal Williams, Ramondre Stevenson. Those are the players I have just below Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, he's definitely... In those rankings, he'd definitely be going down for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think after this week, Gordon's probably going to go down too. But after this week, I think I would prefer Gainwell for sure.
Gainwell looked good today.
Yeah, no, Gainwell I think I would prefer over Mitchell. Gainwell's
he's completely
better
taken that Boston Scott role. It's his now.
And then Davis had an interesting day. Not so great, honestly.
Cordell Patterson's taking that job.
I know. Wayne Gallman was inactive again, so forget about him.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was we also had Singletary, who Moss scored 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, got to move him up.
Singletary also scored a touchdown. I mean, Singletary looked good again. I think Singletary's 13 for 82 and a touchdown.
He had that 50-yard run at the beginning of the game.
Yeah. I mean, I think Singletary is a better player than Mitchell. So he might move up again. So I don't know. Mitchell, he'll be somewhere in that same range, maybe a little bit lower.
I think now's the time where we preach, especially in redraft, if your league has IR, because I think Jeff Wilson's probably already rostered in most dynasty leagues.
100%.
If your redraft has an IR, go get Jeff Wilson and put him.
Yeah, so many weeks away, but yeah, he's still 4 more weeks. He's got to sit. That's an eternity.
It is an eternity, but think about it. In 2 weeks, he'll be showing up in the waiver wire.
No, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
If you only have one IR spot, you might have someone else in there. You could have Judy. You could have Thomas. Bateman. I'd still rather have those guys, obviously.
I get it. My league just play with 2 and 3. So
in Dynasty, here's where I had Sermon. Here are some. I'm just going to read off guys I had below him, and you tell me when to stop. As in, you would prefer Sermon over this person. So I'll just start. AJ Dillon, Chase Edmonds.
I'll take Edmonds.
Michael Carter.
Michael Carter had a good week this week, if I'm not mistaken.
Pollard.
Yep, Pollard.
Rojo.
Rojo, but the gap is shortened from there's the big tier gap from Pollard to Rojo, at least for me.
So would you prefer Sermon or Rojo?
Rojo, barely. It's
Fournette.
You have to take Fournette too.
Okay. So now we're going down. And then the next one is Mitchell.
Oh man.
So you're already there. You already have Sermon next to Mitchell.
Yeah, I do.
Is it going to be Sermon or Mitchell?
Oh my gosh, that's like an on the spot question. Can I take Jeff Wilson?
No.
Gosh. Give me Trey Sermon. Barely.
Sermon or Gainwell?
Gainwell.
All right. So Sermon and Mitchell are in the same value range now.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you. I think for me, I'm not sure between Sermon and Rojo because Rojo.
I know yeah.
Rojo, I'm just done. 6 carries for 27 yards. Fournette leads the backfield again. I think Rojo is just. I've seen 3 years, and actually no, 4 years of Rojo now. And I think I've seen enough years of Rojo. I'd rather just take my chances. Because remember that Rojo was inactive multiple times in his first year. So I'd just rather take the chances that Sermon has the rest of the career like Rojo's and not start with Rojo's career already done.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather take my chances. I think I like Sermon's, if Sermon can do what Rojo did in 2019 and 2020, then I'm much better off with Sermon than I am with Rojo. At Rojo having had so many years.
Will he ever get that workload in San Fran, though?
We never thought Rojo would in Tampa Bay, and then
True.
he did in 2020 for
I know.
like 11 games.
It's just I don't trust Kyle Shanahan.
I get it, but
I'm at that point.
Coaches change. You never know. Well, Rojo is going to be a big loser this week for me also. Because they say, oh, he gets started, he's playing Atlanta. And Leonard Fournette still dominates the carries, gets receiving work that Rojo doesn't get. Rojo's just done. So I'm just completely done. So that would be a discussion for me. But Sermon's going to move way down, for sure. All right. He needs some reassurance. You got reassurance for him?
Nope. Not until Urban Meyer's fired.
Well, I think that's going to be very soon.
Oh, yeah. So it's coming.
I think that could be next week.
Who do they play next week?
Next week
I don't
is
think
the Cardinals. Well, don't worry. The Cardinals defense didn't look as good.
It didn't look as good, but the offense is 200% going to outscore Jacksonville's.
Well, after that is the Bengals. A possible victory, although the Bengals aren't they 2-0?
No, they lost today.
Oh, they did lose.
The Bears pulled through. They almost.
Well, I really hope that they get their act together because they have the Bengals and they have the Titans, but then after that comes a 3-game, actually, really a 5-game stretch that I would not envy. The Dolphins.
Oh my.
Then at Seattle, then the Bills, then at Indianapolis, then against the 49ers.
Urban's gone.
Yeah, so that 5-game stretch. They also, before that comes the Titans. Also not so great. So this could be, and then they finish, they have some easier games, but they also have a game at the Rams.
Oh my gosh.
And another one at the Patriots.
Sounds like they're picking one again in this upcoming year.
This is going to be a disaster. They do play the Texans again. This time at home. Maybe they'll win. Oh boy.
I need to watch the Jacksonville games. I need to watch a repeated one because my friends are telling me they're running the same play. So,
will you start Trevor Lawrence next week against the Cardinals? Yes or no? Can you possibly?
I don't think you can. In Superflex, probably.
Where do you think he's going to rank for you? Do you think he's going to be inside QB2 territory?
Barely, probably.
I had him 19 this week.
It's probably where I'm going to have him next week. 20, 21, 22.
Although I would say Arizona is a better matchup than Denver.
I get that, but I just don't trust the offense.
Yeah. You want me to read you Trevor Lawrence's passing line this week?
I saw it. It was not pretty. It wasn't like 150 and an interception.
I'll read it for the people. Oh, it was worse than that.
Oh gosh.
So let's do one of my games. Let's start with the completions.
It was
14 of 33. Is that good or bad?
It's not ideal.
Not ideal.
That's sugarcoating.
Less than 50% in today's NFL is not good.
Not cutting it.
Okay, so on those 33 attempts, he turned those 33 attempts into 118 yards for 3.6 yards per attempt. What do we think about that? Is that good or bad?
Not cutting it.
That's bad. Sam Darnold averaged about 6 yards per attempt last year. Dwayne Haskins averaged about 6 for his career. So 3.6 is
abysmal.
okay. So the next thing, 2 interceptions.
Not good.
Not good, but only 1 touchdown.
There were some interesting stat lines from this game today. Chenault's was interested me the most. It was 7 targets for -3 yards on 2 receptions.
Yeah, no. That's Chenault is not going to be a thing. That one, whoops. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the people that I recommended on Chenault, but I don't think he's going to be a thing. Not with this coaching staff.
This coaching staff has to get out.
This coaching staff is incompetent. So
that's pretty
well, there was some good news. Carlos Hyde only got 2 carries. James Robinson's 11. James Robinson only did, he also had 3 receptions. James Robinson actually is like a low-key winner this week, even though the game was a disaster. He at least was the lead back. I mean, he got 11 carries to 2 and 3 receptions to 0 for Hyde. So low-key, he was kind of a winner this week. All the receiving options are huge losers.
I mean, Marvin Jones, he had an all right week.
Yeah, but that was this week.
Bad.
That was this week. What about next week? If he had 11 targets this week, then DJ Chark could have them next week, and he could have 4. And next week, DJ Chark could have 55 yards, and Jones has 1 reception for 19.
It's just tough. I don't know.
Unacceptable.
We need to get that coaching staff.
You know what? This doesn't. You should go buy Trevor Lawrence in Dynasty. That's what you should do. You want to talk about a player who's not performing that you should go buy? That's who you should buy.
I agree. I mean,
you think you can get Trevor Lawrence in Superflex for 2 first-round picks? Maybe 2 first-round picks.
I think you could at this.
Would you do it?
Would I send him for 2 firsts?
Oh, fuck no. I mean, would you send 2 firsts for him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You got to bet on the talent.
If you could trade Justin Fields for Trevor Lawrence now, would you still do it?
Ooh, you got to bet on the talent. Yeah, but it's really, you know, my co-host. It's really close.
Oh, that's why I want the people to hear.
Yeah,
I want the people to hear. I want to put you on
the record.
I'd
still take Trevor Lawrence.
I want to put you on the record.
I'm still in on Trevor Lawrence. Although that Justin Fields could easily just pass him.
I love it. I'm
still in on T-Law.
Let's what if it's later in the season? Zeke is playing 2 weeks to the injured guys. I mean, if Zeke continues to fail, then it's going to be the injured guys. I mean, I don't know. How low would you rank a 27-year-old Zeke going into next year? Dobbins is the one of those 3 I have the most confidence in.
I
would expect Zeke to rank probably between Dobbins and Akers and Etienne, because I have serious concerns about those 2 recovering from their injuries.
Like I said, my confidence in Akers coming back from that injury is growing every time we see Marlon Mack on the field.
My confidence will grow when I see Akers on the field, because lots of people recover from ACLs, and Saquon Barkley looks like, has had the most time and hasn't looked any good.
Etienne concerns me the most, though.
Yeah.
That foot.
But I have other concerns there. That he's never going to get to play with the coaching staff that picked him.
You got a point there.
Yeah, that's my biggest concern with Etienne, actually, is that more than anything else. Is that a whole new coaching staff is going to decide who they like better between Etienne and Robinson. And I don't know what they're going to do.
Dobbins is
that's
definitely
actually my biggest concern with Etienne is more than anything else. New nickname. I think that Akers, no matter what, Sean McVay is not getting fired. So no. I think Sean McVay is going to return to Akers as the lead back if Akers is healthy enough to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I have more confidence in Akers. The only thing stopping Akers would be if he literally can't play. And I don't think that's likely. Even if it takes, I think Akers is someone that, unlike Barkley, who he should have been ready week 1. He should have been ready, and he is not ready, and that is disappointing. Akers is someone, expect him to be ready like week 9 of 2021. Don't expect week 1.
Right.
He'll be someone I'll be fading in redraft next year. For sure. Akers. I'll be fading. New nickname, and this is our last one. New nickname, Rubbish Penny. That's actually not bad. But I prefer Rashad always injured. Rashad never on the field.
I don't got nicknames. I'm not the nickname person.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of nicknames. Carson Failure, Carson Won't, Carson Wintz.
Did you see that shovel pass today?
God. Was it a good shovel pass or a bad one?
It was intercepted.
Oh, typical. I mean, yeah. No, I have a lot of nicknames. There are many. Teddy Boring.
He's been looking good.
I know. I hear that nickname may be rescinded.
You gotta put that one in retirement.
Tight end Hill.
I mean, yeah.
Ryan Fitztragic. Drew Disaster, I think, is my best one.
Yeah, I'm upset we didn't get to see him play. I thought he was starting the year, but it worked out for the best, it looks like.
I know. I wish I had more positive nicknames.
We'll work on that.
Yeah. Miles always drops the ball. That's another negative one. I have a lot of negative ones. Ramondre inactive.
That one hurt.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Ramondre Stevenson.
It was a fun 3 weeks, just like it was for Marquez Callaway.
I'm actually not familiar with Marquez Callaway. You mean Marquez overhyped?
Oh, boy.
Marquez overhyped?
Where we at?
Marquez unproven?
Is that where we're at?
What did he do to me?
3 for 20, 3 for 22?
Nothing. That's not good enough.
I know. I'm just saying that's a stat line.
But it's not good enough.
I mean, especially for where the hype was at.
It's not good enough. What about Paris Campbell?
This is where I just quit.
It's okay. I have a good nickname for him.
Oh boy.
Paris career over.
Oh no.
Paris career over. Just like Paris Hilton. Actually, that's not true. She has a new cooking show on Netflix, Cooking with Paris.
Does. I heard it was awful.
I actually kind of liked it.
I heard it was. I haven't watched it. I haven't been watching stuff besides football.
Oh, I have one last thing. KJ Osborne. KJ Osborne is the real deal.
Yes.
He started off with a 64-yard touchdown on second play.
That was nice. I love
it. I love it. I hope
everyone picked him up off waivers last week.
Well, I hope they they may have listened to someone.
Oh, I listened.
Yeah.
All the leagues. Love to see it.
Oh man, this was just a crazy week of football.
Yeah,
crazy week of football. It's a lot of injuries, a lot of other stuff. We're gonna get some reports on those injuries tomorrow. But my last thought is if you're looking at waivers, don't forget to put Demetric Felton on there.
Yep.
He might be available in even your deepest dynasty leagues, and he actually looked good as a receiver today. So, something to consider with their lack of receivers there. Maybe he's not going to work out as a running back, but maybe he'll be able to work in as a receiver. So just someone to make sure you don't forget about him. He was a 6th-round pick this year.
I was almost confusing him with who was it that everyone spent 100 fab on? Was that Dearness Johnson?
Dearness Johnson.
Yeah.
But I like Demetric Felton. He was actually a draft sleeper I really liked, and then he didn't. He landed in a terrible spot. But if he's going to be a receiver, suddenly the spot doesn't look so bad. Beckham is never coming back at this point. I mean, who knows when he's going to come back? He's disgruntled. Landry hurt his MCL today. He's going to miss time. He sprained MCL. He's going to miss time. So it's going to be a couple of weeks. Anthony Schwartz was on the injury report this week with another thing. And Donovan Peoples-Jones is always inconsistent. So he could have room to succeed there. Something to consider.
We'll have to wait and see. I mean,
I always appreciate you coming on. So let's get this out of here. Let's get this out of here so that people can see your your Twitter. All right, plug your stuff one last time so the people can hear it.
Well, my Twitter is at Ryan_pros_FF. It's too late in the morning. Yeah, too late in the morning. I'm
Too
vibing
late in
on
the morning. I love
Too late
that.
in the morning. Yep. Ah, gosh. But yeah, I write for the Dynasty Vipers, start my series this week, and then I do the Fantasy Newsroom every Sunday mornings with Matt and Spencer from 12 to 1. We answer all your start sit questions. You can tune in after tuning to Tyler's show from 11 to 12 on Sundays. So we hope to see you in both these
Matt
spots.
did
And
both this week.
he did double duty. He pulled it.
Back
It
to
was
back.
good. It was good stuff. But yeah, we hope to see you in both spots this upcoming weekend. And, football, more football. We just love it.
I love it. All right. Thank you for listening to this marathon thing. I don't know if we're gonna make this a regular thing, but I think we're like we're the only people who stay up this late. So it's something we'll try to do throughout. It's a few times throughout the season. All right. Thank you, everyone,
Peace.
and have a good night.